back to Switch to Linux. I wasn't sure I was actually going to be able to go live today. We had been battling bad internet like all day long. Like I got more internet on my 33.6 modem when I first got a computer. And now, of course, I'm seeing OBS is just teetered with the red line a little bit, so I'm a little terrified, but I think we're going to be okay. So let me just figure out where my scene selection is. Greetings, everybody. How's it going?
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
All right. Well, hopefully it works out. YouTube. That's an oddity because YouTube was working, right?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. YouTube's back to excellent connection again.
There we go. The buffering stopped.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, we are.
That has got to be something on YouTube's end. Clearly, it's not my Restream server because Odyssey and Rumble kept working just fine. I'm still getting spinnies on my end on YouTube, but I am reporting now excellent connection. So what had happened is it actually reported no data connection coming in. I'm like, did they boot us off? Did I say something super offensive in the first 5 minutes? We didn't say anything in the first 5 minutes. I'm still getting buffering on YouTube. Is YouTube running or not?
It is on my end.
It is.
I'm inclined to believe they're rerouting it through China.
I'd buy that. Yeah. Let's get into. Okay. I don't know. It's been a weird week, guys. It's been a weird week. Been fighting with internet. And I actually had to get back close to California again in order to get everything working right. I'm gonna try and scrub ahead and see what's going on here. Okay. So far we seem okay. Let me unmute it. I'd buy that. Let's get into. Okay. I don't know. Okay, we're good. For whatever reason, it just wouldn't caught back up on my end. Okay. Well, we're back apparently. That was weird.
Yeah, we are.
Okay. Let's get into our topic, and then we can talk about fun ranty stuff. Okay. Do you guys like this nice backdrop with the coloration? Let me switch over. There you go. Oh, not that one. I'm sorry, guys. I pushed the wrong screen. There we go. Nice little transition background. Going with the natural van background. I've been finding a lot of people really like the van backdrop type stuff and things like that. So we'll do a little bit more of that when we can. We are planning to do more Tux Traveler stuff. We released a video on Tux Traveler last week, which was more of a rambly stuff, nothing super exciting. If I get the chance, either Saturday or Sunday, I will roll out another video with some other stuff. I hope that's kind of the plan. Part of it's going to depend on, do I get the video finished for Saturday for this channel, which is supposed to be it should be a really good one. Really fun, beautiful Arizona backdrop landscapes, and a lot of fun information, but we're adding a lot of extra B-roll to it. So I have all the A-roll done, and now I'm working on the B-roll, and so I should be able to get that in by Saturday. So as long as we have that, and we have a little bit more time, I'll get that Tux Traveler stuff together. So all right. Well, anyway, let's go ahead and get into our topic. We want to talk about private and secure email. So these are like the email services you can use. Now, full disclaimer, I don't use any of these because all of my email is self-hosted. I believe Salbu does the same, and Dan is self-hosting email, right? And Ivan, what are you doing for email?
I'm doing Proton and using the custom domain functionality.
Okay, so you're doing one of the services we'll talk about. I was hoping Mark might jump on because he's used a few of these as well, longer term as well. So Mark, all right. Whoa, yeah, Salbu, your microphone's messed up again. Either that or the aliens from Signs are trying to communicate with you. Oh boy. All right, so I found this article. We're basically quick and simple. We're going to be talking about this article I found over on TechSpot. They talk about top 10 private and secure email services. Many of these I have heard of. Some of these I have not. So we're just going to flip through these guys here. Of course, they're talking Google adding more ads to your inbox. There you go. There's no other reason to leave. That's why. Just get out of there. Get out of there. Caught giving third parties full access to user emails and tracking all your purchases, and that's a feature. Did you guys know that's a feature? That's what Facebook, or not Facebook, PayPal is doing. They're scouring your connected Gmail accounts, looking for anything that looks like shipping labels, and inside your PayPal account now you can view tracking updates from things you didn't even buy with PayPal. Okay.
Okay.
You know, it makes me wonder when these companies will get to the realization point that actually their ads are costing them more than people actually have money to fork out for anything other than essential needs.
I know, right? It's just like, y'all show me all the ads you want. I ain't got any money to spend on anything.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. Yahoo's got scanning emails in real time for U.S. surveillance agencies. That's exciting. Advertisers have been allowed to scan Yahoo and AOL accounts to identify segment potential customers by pickup on contextual buying signals and past purchases. AOL must be scanning the elderly, I guess. I don't know. Anyone out there still use AOL who's under the age of like 50? I don't know.
I'm a boomer and I haven't used it in decades.
Yeah, there you go. So there are some options now. Of course, I like the best option of either throwing that closet server in your own personal closet, Mrs. Clinton style, or hosting your own cloud server, or just doing something like a simple cPanel, which is nice and easy to do. Dan, that's what you do. What are your what's your thoughts?
What's my thoughts? It is very private. I don't get any unwanted email per se. You know, I do get emails that are unwanted, but they're through business that I have conducted. So when I look at the email address and all that other stuff, I can tell it is legit. And then, you know, at some point I had contact with these people, but it is expensive to actually do the A2 hosting with email and just only use the email and not use the other potential services I could be taking advantage of. Mm-hmm. It costs $191 every 2 years. Plus, every 2 years, I pay $26 to renew the domain name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most cases the domain name's going to be about the same, roughly $10 to $15 a year.
But I have taken it so it's bi-yearly that I pay.
Yep.
So they sound like large numbers, but keep in mind they're for 2 years.
Yep.
And I do the renewal of the domain on the opposite year that I do the actual payment for the cPanel.
Yeah, yeah.
But it is nice to get nice, clean email without a bunch of unknown trash in it.
Yeah. Night of Light does comment, and I'd not consider a cloud server self-hosting because it is not on your premise. That is true in a way, although what I do is I will connect my email in such a way that my email is never sitting on the server. My system will download a copy of it to a few different computers and then scrub it off the server. So I actually had to go into one of the archive computer emails this last week because we need to collect all the product images. And I know I deleted them from my main system because that was a lot, hundreds of megabytes worth of images. I didn't want this floating around. So I just went into the archive email system, sorted by the client, found all the stuff, and collected everything that we needed, put them all in one spot on some evil devil drive. No, it's Google Drive, But for the client. So, we had everything, but that's why I do it that way. So I don't have to cloud up a server with all that kind of stuff. It just, it takes care of itself, and doesn't keep stuff on there. But to your point, yes, if it is on somebody else's system, but a email server on like a cPanel or some other email server on somebody else's cloud as a deployed application is infinitely safer than using a Gmail or anything else. We're two completely different leagues, and so that really is the issue. And I would disagree with the argument that it does not matter once your data is on the hosting service or archiving everything for Five Eyes. Maybe not, possibly not, and whether or not they have access or ready access is still questionable on if things are moving transiently, because they cannot take a copy of everything instantaneously in the state. And that is why if you're pulling your emails and scrubbing it off the servers, nothing's hanging around long enough to hang out inside of a Five Eyes backup. And a lot of that is not necessarily done on a it's most of that is done on more of a targeted basis if we're talking about not part of a service. Whereas Five Eyes is absolutely taking a copy of everything that passes through Gmail. Absolutely. But on an obscure hosting server, one of many droplets on something that may or may not, there's no system to tell what in the world's even going on. And so that is my issue there. And Salbu, you got the Clinton style, right? Just a server in the closet.
Yeah, I remember I was watching tweet live on the Sunday after the news broke that she was hosting her own email server at home, and they were actually visibly impressed. Leo Laporte himself was impressed that she actually dared to run her own email server at home and had the proper staff to manage it, which was the hurdle that the FBI had. I think it was FBI when they wanted to search her server, but they couldn't just barge in because it was her own private server at her home and not in a data center. So that's one issue. One thing to remember. If one benefit of hosting it at your own home is they have to have an actual search warrant in order to come and access it, because it's not in a data center where some staff can just and let them in because of some secret something.
Yeah, and that's the split difference compromise I do, because I don't have the capability of having a server in the van. I could possibly rent for thousands of dollars a facility somewhere and throw something up there in that perspective in time. But the idea is a split compromise. To your point, if they're interested in seeing what you have on the server, they're going to have to first know it's there and then be targeting you. And then they're going to have to go and issue an order with that company itself. And yeah, they might get some things in the middle process, but they're not going to see the emails that I've been keeping around for the last 35 years.
You can do an email server with a Raspberry Pi now, can't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. But it requires an always-on internet connection. And that's the issue with as far as a mobile person. So there's things like that. So
I was just curious,
compromises you consider.
When people say server, they're thinking big computer where, we're dealing with email. You can actually hook this thing up, connect it to the internet, and hide it behind your refrigerator in your home.
Yeah, very, very possible.
And nobody knows it's there.
Yeah, very possible. And so, I get what Nightalite is saying as far as things, but as paranoid as I am, it's one of the trade-offs that I'm willing to do, and that I've secured it the best that I can, which is an acceptable thing, because that's the principle. But all that being said, TextBot goes through with a few different services. So we have Proton Mail, Start Mail, MailFence, Tuta, Mailbox.org, Postio, Runbox, Countermail, Collab Now, and Sovereign. So, Ivan, you're using Proton Mail. What's your thoughts?
Well, I happen to like it a lot. I actually started using it a few years back. As far as the mail service goes, that goes back probably 4 or 5 years. Then a couple of years back, I started using the VPN, and I actually paid for a deal, and I got one of those Christmas time half off packages or something. So I'm like, all right, so I've got that, and it's good for the lifetime that I've got the account. It's like, all right, great. And then about a year and a half, 2 years ago, maybe, can't quite remember, they upgraded their services, and the plan I was on got bumped up to what was at that time the business class. So I'm like, all right, great. I pay the same. and I get all of the then business class benefits. And I'm like, all right, yeah, give me all the stuff that I'm not going to use. Whatever, I'm happy.
Mhm.
If okay, but I do happen to like it, and I like it because it's offshore. I do like their what they have on it. The fact that it's encrypted in house, so they can't see it themselves. As far as connection goes, I connect through the VPN, so whoever says, "Hey, tell us where this is connected from," they're just gonna go, "Oop, I can't tell you because it's VPN." But it's ease of use. It's very easy. They've got a lot of other resources that are available to people that I don't happen to say use some more local stuff in place of that, like Proton Pass. I've got KeyPass and things of that sort. But I do happen to like it very much. And I separate off all of my business stuff with a different email provider, which isn't on that list. That's for my business and junk mail. Anything that's not personal goes out there. And then all my personal stuff comes onto Proton, of which there has been next to no activity on since I bought it. And and I like it that way. It's there from when I need it, and it operates the way I need it to. And I have no complaints. I'm really satisfied with everything that they've got to offer with it.
And do you access that just on their web client, or do you have a connection with just a desktop client?
I use a desktop client. I use Thunderbird, and I use the Proton Mail Bridge application.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Linux version because I have LMDE, of course, and so I use that, so I can actually use my Thunderbird connection to connect to the server using that. And the thing I like about it a lot is that even if I wasn't accessing via the VPN, I would know that my bridge connection to the servers are also encrypted, so nobody can catch it in the middle.
Okay.
And the best thing about the Proton is that they are physically headquartered in Switzerland, which is not a part. They are not a part of the European Union, so they have their own privacy laws, which is also why most of the people who have money to hide or have some strict security requirements for putting money over, they're placing them in Swiss banks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, I also remember reading somewhere about the facility is a data center that is buried within a mountain. I'm like, okay, that's a nice little bonus. Doesn't mean anything to me. A data center is a data center. Doesn't matter where it is. As
It
long
means
as it's
that
secure.
It does matter, because if the dwarves dig too deep and waken that fire demon, they will come, and the fire demon's going to be sitting there reading your email.
That sounds like a World of Warcraft raid to me.
Yeah,
I'll
there
do
you go. In which case,
I'll
you're
do
good.
it.
All right.
And also when the apocalypse does happen, and you have some form of transportation, you can actually travel to Switzerland and still be able to read your last email.
Yeah,
True.
there you go.
That's true. Yeah.
So Proton Mail does have some free versions, although the bridge, I believe, requires premium, I think, right?
Yeah, you have to be a plus member at least.
Yeah, and you're at about $3.49 a month at the maximum, according to the TechSpot article, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, I think one of the things as we go through this list is there's free options for many of these, but a lot of them are paid. And I think that's one of the things that was part of Google's devious plan, is to get us so used to email being free. Email wasn't ever free prior to Gmail. It was just bundled with the service we were paying for. So we got an ISP, we're at Comcast. You have a Comcast email address. You get it at AOL. You have an AOL email address. It was just part of the service that you use to purchase the internet back when you purchased the internet. Now, I think you can still get it depending on what your server is. Like if you're still getting Comcast, you can still get a Comcast email address, although I'm not sure too many people are still using them. And I ditched that long time ago because I'm moving to different places, and it's like I don't have, Comcast doesn't serve everywhere. And so rather than having to change my emails every couple of years, I would just said, well, let's just jump onto one of these free services and have one email. So, of course, I signed a deal with the devil and put my email on one of the big tech guys, but I don't use that one much for anything, just collects junk at this point. And even then, it's like, I'll sometimes use it, though, to test if, records are working right and things like that. So a lot of these are paid, and we should start thinking of it that if it's not paid, there might be a downside for us. And so,
I think a lot of us in the beginning took a good dance with the devil and decided it wasn't for us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Start Mail is another one. This is out of Start Page. I've been thinking a lot lately about Start Page. I'm really going to do a little bit more research on a few things. Now, obviously, it is. I push back against it a lot. It is not true that they have been purchased by System One. It's that System One made an investment in them. And I am still uncomfortable about that because System One's privacy policy is worse than Microsoft and Google combined, and sprinkle in a little bit of Meta in there as well. So I just don't think that's the case. But the other thing that really bothers me about Start Page is they don't work well on Tor. And so this is a thing like, we're about privacy. Oh, you're using the premium privacy way to access the internet. You can't use our service either. And I have some fundamental issues with that.
Yeah.
And so Start Mail is their same email service. It's $5 a month. They have a 7-day free trial, 10 to 20 gigabytes, and this is in Netherlands. So you have some pretty good privacy laws there. I've not experimented with this one, although I probably should at some point in time at least try out that 7-day trial maybe, and see what it is. But overall, it's my guess is it's going to be pretty good. They use PGP encryption with emails, which are also encrypted on their servers and things like that. So there are a few things with that. Of course, it does lack a lot of the other extra things we think of. So calendars, notes, file storage, things like that. All things you can get with a cPanel, by the way. All that's in there. MailFence, email from Belgium. I don't know anything about MailFence specifically, but this is another one of the options. So the free tier is up to 500 megabytes. So what the old Gmail used to be free at, and then it goes up to $3.50 per month for more in that. Anybody have experience with that one? Anybody ever receive an email from that one?
I've never heard of that one.
Me neither.
All right. So I guess that there. Tuta, this is former Tuta Noah. So Tuta is one I've experimented with a little bit. And of course they did have that issue where some crazy guy who was being charged by the Canadian government claimed them of being a giant honeypot, which does not appear to be true. They do have a free tier up to 1 gigabyte of data, and otherwise you're paying €3 per month for it. This is based in Germany, so it is a Five Eyes country. It is an EU country, and so there you have to stop and ask about those questions. But it does do a lot to make sure email is encrypted on their end, and according to their statements, they don't even have the ability to decrypt the email as it sits on the server. And so that's the thing. In my experiments with it, I found it to be not as intuitive to use, particularly if you're trying to send encrypted email to somebody and you have to send them a separate key. And then it's really, at least it was a few years ago, really, really, really annoying to use it.
Yeah, I'm reading the pros and cons, and there is they are deliberately not compatible with a normal email client. When you send encrypted mail to someone who is not a Tuta user, they send a mail to the user which has a link where he has to and he has to click on the link, and then he has to read email from Tuta users on the Tuta website. You can't do that.
That is what I recall. Yes, somebody sent me some encrypted email, and I had to go to a Tuta page. I didn't have to create any account or anything. I just had to have that direct link, which begs the question: how secure is it with that direct link?
And they don't use PGP or Open PGP in order to encrypt the email. They have some other which sounds fishy in my.
So, which in and of itself is possibly means something proprietary, and so we don't know what's going on. So who knows? Maybe it is the honeypot, and that crazy crackpot Canadian is actually honest. I don't know.
And you also and there's you can't you have to if you're a user of the site you can't use an email client in order to read the email because they don't provide proper EMAP service.
So there are definitely a lot of downsides to using Tuta. Although one of my friends does use it a lot, so it'd be interesting to see if I thought of it earlier. I might have reached out and said, "Hey, tell me about it." There's mailbox.org from Germany. I've heard of this one at least. It is €1 per month with a 30-day free trial between 2 and 100 gigabytes. So let's see. It has all-inclusive productivity suite similar to 365. So if you're looking for something, mail, calendar, address book, drive, tasks, portal, text, spreadsheets, presentation. So there are some good features of using that. So if you're looking for a good full replacement for some of those. Of course, Proton, we didn't mention it, but Proton Mail does have most of those features, if not all of them. I don't think they have the document features, but I believe they have the calendars, address book as well. Is that correct, Ivan?
Oh, sorry about that. Ask me one more time.
Does Proton Mail still have the calendar, address book, and drive?
Yes, they do. And they also have Proton Pass for passwords and 2FA and stuff like that.
All right, cool.
And also, I noticed that one of the cons that is listed by TechSpot is that they don't have a mobile email client. But I don't see why any email provider should provide their own email client. The user should choose one of the existing email clients for whatever platform they are using and use that.
I agree with that. Of course, it begs the dance with the devil question: is the best Android client, which was K9 Mail, is now Thunderbird Mail. That might fill you full of joy and happiness, and it might fill you full of terror and doom, depending on your stances on Mozilla, and especially since the current directions of Thunderbird have not exactly been amazing.
I don't know. I finally upgraded to the newer version of Thunderbird. I can live with it. It's not real pleasant to the eyes because the theming is broken. But a lot of the functionality things, once you figure out what you're clicking on and what it does, it's livable.
I would like to see like a Thunderbird Classic that just does email. Okay, it's like stop packaging all this crap in there. I am not looking for a giant suite of BS in my application. Just give me an email client. That's all I want.
Yeah, you know, they could have a Thunderbird ESR.
Yeah, there you go. Or a Thunderbird We Haven't Lost Our Minds edition. It's like, you can shut your Matrix chat clients in there. Why? Element is infinitely better. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I am the same. So I'm using Kmail in order to read email, and they have the way that that they want you to use it is they have this contact application which uses in the background the calendar system and a few other things. iCandy, which is real nice to have, but I only care about the email, so I manually launched the email client alone. At least I can choose what to do.
My problem is I like to cling on to email and keep it, you know, the advertisement junk, I can delete that. But stuff like if I purchase something expensive somewhere or something from Amazon and it goes bad, I would like to be able to print off an email type receipt or get a link to go to where I bought it and print off something so I can get it warranted or taken care of. Or if I want to buy the same item again 2 years later.
And you
I
can
have that
save
email.
archives of email. There's actually, I was going to look into it last year and I completely forgot. Maybe I'll have to throw it on my list of things to look into. There was an application for Linux that you could use to archive your email in a better, completely offline, searchable manner. Like, it was a case where, okay, I never have to reply to this, but I'd like to have a copy. It was an application that allowed you to do that. I forget what it was now, but it's probably on one of the 700 sticky notes I have floating around here somewhere. I need to go get my desk organized again. Of piles and piles and piles of things.
There are reasons that there are things that you do want to save some of your emails for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Especially if it's something you got to go to court for and you got to email over it that would help you.
Yeah. No, what I generally do is, in part of my backup strategy once a month, is I just make a backup of my basically export the email data, because I can just I can literally spin up any random distribution, even as a live key, re-import that and find any email that I had for that period of time that was on there. And I keep email archives going back a while just to account for that. So
I didn't know it never occurred to me if there is an export function for email.
Yeah, and it works. I have I tested it? I think I've tested it on Thunderbird as well. I've used it a lot for Evolution because I like keeping. I have a lot of folders and filters and rules in Evolution. So I export that and then just import it in. And I think Evolution is a little bit more secure because I have to re-enter my passwords on a new deploy, whereas Thunderbird, I don't have to re-import my passwords. So if they get a copy of that config file, apparently your passwords are in the config file in your home folder, which is a little terrifying. So Thunderbird maybe has some security issues, whereas Evolution utilizes the keychain of the system. And so if I can port everything and it will save all of my settings, it'll save all my configurations, it'll save all my filters, all my mail. It's just on first launch, I have to re-enter all the passwords for all the emails in there. Thunderbird doesn't have that issue, and that tells me Thunderbird might have some security issues. Let's see. Postio, another Germany one. I'm not sure I'd want to use an email service out of Germany unless I were actually living in Germany. I don't know.
Yeah.
No free tier, €1 a month. Apparently my microphone is noisy too. Wonderful. Thank you. Apparently my mic's going all noisiness.
Yeah, it's an epidemic going around.
Custom domains not supported. No .com options available. No spam folder. They're either rejected or delivered to the regular inbox. No trial or free version. Cryptocurrency payments not supported. Who the hell wants this crap? Hey, it's completely open source. Okay, there you go. And it's got that going for it. Self-finance since 2009. No logs, IP address stripping. Okay, they got some things going for it then. It does allow anonymous cash payments, but no cryptocurrency. I can send them in an international envelope of cash, but
yeah, but there are some who have done some excellent purchases using cryptocurrency. I remember reading about that. I think this is 5 years ago now. There was a story about someone who had been into Bitcoin since the early first or second year of Bitcoin starting up. And so he had gathered a few Bitcoins. And at the time when the story broke, it was valued at such a high price that he used them to actually buy a house with no mortgage of any kind. That's a good use of Bitcoin or cryptocurrency if you have it.
All right, Runbox, Solbu, you're up. This is private and sustainable email in Norway. You know anything about these guys?
Only by name.
Okay.
I don't use a third-party email service other than sending and receiving email from them.
Yeah.
But we have a good privacy laws, and there is I don't remember any big stories about some email service being raided for something.
That's good. So, yeah. Good, secure email jurisdiction with strong legal framework for privacy. So, yeah, I mean, that might be a decent option. 30-day free trial, $1.66 a month. I'm guessing that's not going to be paid in dollars. Who knows? 2 to 50 gigabytes of storage, depending on what you need. They give you 100 aliases to use with your account. So there you go. There's one. That's what Dan does with multiple aliases. So you have 100 aliases used with your account. Secure file storage is also included with different tiers. So SMTP, POP, IMAP protocols. So any third-party email clients you want. You can use PGP with Runbox, yet it's not fully integrated with the platform. Does not offer built-in calendar feature, but might be included later. So they strip IP addresses from messages. They have webmail clients and files. Servers run on renewable energy. There you go.
Yeah, we have about between 95 and 98% of our electricity is hydropower.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, I've been mostly running on just solar. I managed to make it through the winter without running the engine charger, just to charge the batteries. So I did take advantage of the church quite a bit, but we've been pulling in. We're over 1 kilowatt of power a day now, so that's good. So I can start ramping up some of my higher end production stuff. Custom domain names on some paid accounts. Numerous payment methods accepted, including cash and cryptocurrencies. Browser-based, no desktop or mobile apps. Not open source. Oh, shame. Data not encrypted on their system or at rest. So your email is sitting unencrypted on their system, on their servers. And no business-specific features. All right, Countermail, another Swedish one. There you go. Anybody know anything about these guys?
No, most of these the only one that I'm familiar with is Proton Mail that you've mentioned so far.
Yeah. All right, so 4 gigabyte plus of storage, 7-day free trial, $4.83 a month price.
4 gigabytes, how stingy?
No, that's a lot for an email client, being that some of the other ones are like 1.
Yeah.
Well, the other one here that you just did.
Oh, yeah,
will
2 to
offer up
50. Okay, yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, 2 to 50, 2 to 20, 2 to 100. Okay, yeah, okay. Yes, you're right. They're stingy.
I mean, Gmail's really stingy. The last I checked, it was like megabytes, not gigabytes.
Yeah. Most secure online email service on the internet with excellent free support. I don't know. Let's see. Cryptocurrency payments, secure built-in password manager. That's not what I want. All emails and attachments stored encrypted on no-log secure servers. So that's good. Everything sitting at rest is encrypted. Custom domain support, message filter, and autoresponder features uses RSC, EAS, CBC, SSL encryption to protect against leaks and man-in-the-middle attacks. So that sounds good. Design and UI feels out of date. More expensive than other secure options. Now requires an invite to register. So you have to apparently know somebody on the mail.
Yeah, what is it? A country club?
I think they've just sealed their doom.
Yeah, it's a country club.
Yeah.
A country club for emails that none of us have ever heard of. Great. Collab Now. Actually, I think one of my clients might use this one. It sounds familiar anyway. So, in fact, I think they were experimenting with Proton Mail and finally settled on this one, if I remember correctly. Secure and private email, calendars, and more based in Switzerland. So another one under the mountain that the dwarves will dig too deep and wake up the fire god and they'll destroy it. You know, it's pricey, $5.89 per month, but does offer a lot of features and mail functionality: email, contacts, calendar, scheduling, collaboration, sharing tools, cloud file storage. Right now, they're running in public beta in their voice and video conferencing system. So, yeah, I think this is the one that one of my clients was using. They accept cryptocurrency, POP, SMTP, IMAP, so you can use it with your clients. Full email suite with numerous features to fully replace Gmail Office 365. So there you have it. And end-to-end encryption is available but not built in. Email not encrypted at rest, but stored in a high-security Swiss data center that only the fire god has access to. Great. Good to know. At least the hacker will be like, I want in.
No.
I wish I had my fire screen on this this particular collection of OBS stuff. I'd play Fire God here for a second, but I don't have it. All right. And we have one in the Netherlands. So, I don't know. These guys might be all high on something. Sovereign basic email in the Netherlands. 25 gigabyte. No free tier. 325 euros a month. Focus on user privacy and data protection. Offers a straightforward private email service with end-to-end encryption and user-friendly interface. Not a whole lot. Let's see. Dutch privacy law and GDPR, which I believe the Dutch privacy law, is that one decent? But you know,
I have no idea.
it's not open source. No built-in encryption options. Bonus track: Skiffy Mail. Skiff Mail, a young email service based in San Francisco, California. Pfft, nope.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Well, cross that one off the list. Email jurisdiction data privacy. Did you know the jurisdiction which your email service is located can seriously impact your privacy? Oh, okay. This is underneath. Okay. This is underneath the Skiffy Mail. Yeah, that's probably just a company looking to cash out with a good old bonus. Well, anyway, there's some fun email options. Seriously considering Mesopotamian Rust. Seriously considering ditching Gmail for Start Mail, but wanting to know if I should get Start Mail. I would look at Proton Mail before I'd look at Start Mail. For the reasons I mentioned, I'm not sure if you came in a little bit late. I am having a few slight concerns with the Start Page company. Not like major, but a few questions. And I think that Proton probably has a lot better of a reputation overall. So unless you have a specific reason to not try Proton, you might try that. I don't know. You guys have any thoughts?
Keep in mind, if you use Proton Mail with the end-to-end encryption, you probably can't use a client with it.
Yeah, that might be a reason, although I'm not sure if I can check Start Mail with my...
All the encrypted email services, unless they supply you with a client, they don't work with regular popular clients like Thunderbird and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but the list of pros and cons doesn't mention any of them. So I actually think that you can use a regular client to access it.
Let me see. Go back up to Start Mail.
Because they are using GPG in order to encrypt the email, which means that the user has to have the keys for the emails. So which can be either server side or local, and it doesn't say which it is.
Yeah, there is no. Oh wait, hold on. IMAP, SMTP are also supported. So
Yeah.
I don't know if POP is supported specifically, but if IMAP and SMTP are supported, then you can use a third party. But they actually do say here in the first paragraph, they are supported if you want to use Start Mail with a third party app such as Thunderbird. So yes, you can use third party apps and desktop clients in order to do that. All right, there is some comments related to the topic that I saw come through, so we'll go ahead and look through our comments real quick. If anybody sees any comments that you want to mention specifically, go ahead. As right now, our stats, we got 30 watching on Zatubies, we got 13 watching on Odyssey. We're over on Odyssey. We got 21 watching over on Rumble.
But before we go to for those who are considering using one of these, they should write down their own requirements, minimum requirements for an email service. So for me, for instance, I need to be able to use a third-party client of my choosing or the deals of, and I need to be specifically be able to use the POP protocol. So stuff like that is important for which email provider you are using.
That is my criteria as well.
Yeah. So this was a really funny story. I've told it on the channel before, but for anybody's new, way back in the day, I was having a conversation with some people. What was it? What was the name of that one phone custom phone rod? Was it Copperhead, I think? Something like that. And it was supposed to be really privacy secure. And I was playing with it for about a month. I finally went back to Lineage because specifically POP wasn't working with Canine Mail. And I was having a conversation with the guy who developed it. He was kind of a jerk. I was like, well, this is one of the concerns I had is, the POP 3 is not working. He's like, what is this, 1985? I'm like, no, you pretentious idiot. It's actually a good secure protocol. Just like, because the thing is that IMAP treats IMAP by default doesn't generally clear email off the server. It behaves a lot different and the email always tends to rely on the server, whereas POP, the email by default is residing on your local client. Now, the world was shifting with Gmail and Hotmail and stuff like this, conditioned us to use IMAP and conditioned us to think that that's better. The reality is POP is better, particularly if you have a good solid backup strategy and you're taking more direct control. So I use POP as the default on all my emails, and because it's infinitely better than using the IMAP crap. And so, you have to account for that to make sure it works. But that's definitely worth it.
And you can, but you can use both at the same time. So in clients that supports POP fetching, you often have a check mark or some button that you can enable, which makes leave the messages on the server whilst you have a local copy, so that if you have a phone or some other thing which uses IMAP, you can still read them using IMAP and still have your own local copy. Because having the local copy of email is important, because if for some reason the service goes away or they shut down your account for whatever reason, and you only have been using IMAP, then you have lost all your email.
Correct. Now, and I take that general approach, but as far as me, I consider keeping email on a phone a huge security risk, and a huge privacy risk, because let's suppose some arrogant globalist law enforcement agent decides he wants to confiscate my phone and find a way to bust on into it. Well, if I don't have any emails on my phone, there's nothing here, And so what I actually do is I'll actually check my phone with an IMAP protocol, but I will do a POP protocol on the computer. So the computer, once the computer has a copy of the email, then it deletes it from the server, and then it is no longer available on the phone. And so looking at that methodology, I don't need emails on my phone for any real length of time. I just need to copy them on the computer. And so that's the better way of managing that. So, let's see. It's on YouTube's, and it does another live stream I watch. He has fiber in it. Yeah, okay. So apparently a couple of people were having those issues we had on YouTube. But that's the first time I've seen it. So maybe they were just having some issue today. You ever consider running a tiny core Linux with an email client, isolate your email and malware, your min system? No, because I don't want to mess with any of the email stuff on this end. I put those on my cloud servers, except for the local copies. Let's see. Problem with Odyssey is it doesn't get the views, and they need to fix their mobile app. Yeah, Odyssey. I've been getting more views on Odyssey as of late, which is good. Actually, I was thinking of Rumble actually, but yeah, Odyssey. I don't know about their client, but actually, I think Odyssey is the third platform in ranking. I think BitChute still gets more than Odyssey, but I think Odyssey is behind. Odyssey is right behind that.
BitChute, I don't even go there anymore. It's kind of a mess.
It is. I think that I think they kind of lost their way a little bit, but they're still a decent archive backup for things. So there you go.
There's a user on YouTube, Objective One, which says that he remembers the paranoia of 40 years ago with the Big Brother watching everything. And at the time, no one in their right mind would talk about these things live on the internet, let alone on something like YouTube. So
yeah, there you go. So how times have changed.
Yeah, and all the bad things that YouTube rejects, like, you know, I don't want to say, but it automatically goes over to Rumble.
Yeah. Yeah, best thing you do is to not put anything important in your email. That's kind of where I'm at. It's mostly just client communications and stuff. I'm not going to have any in-depth sensitive thing on email. No.
Yeah, and if you do need to send some sensitive thing on email, use GPG or OpenPGP encryption, which because when the Snowden documents was revealed bit by bit 11 years ago, there was a talk by one of the journalists and a European security analyst, which because it was one of the documents that was leaked was I don't remember if it was the NSA or the CIA, but one of those had an internal presentation which said that the most disastrous thing that happened to them was PGP because they still can't crack it.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, and this also means that you can't write something sensitive in the subject because that is not encrypted. But put everything sensitive in the email itself and encrypt it using PGP, and no one can read it except the recipient if he has the key.
Yeah,
which means you have to have a which means that you have to exchange keys in some fashion. But if you the user is a Proton Mail user or uses one of the on the list that has a PGP built in, then you're home free.
Yeah, there's actually one of my clients actually uses the one-time secret site. I'll have to look into it a little bit more. I've used it a couple times on my end as well. I've used that to pass passwords back and forth because you put it in there, you create a password, you send the password and the link, and it can be opened one time, and then the server kills it. Now, in theory, be interesting to see if that is in fact in practice. Now, there is a related, is it Tor-Send? What's the Tor-related one that effectively is a very similar thing? That's one that's, journalists oftentimes use. MailFence is recommended by Thunderbird client. Okay, so MailFence, apparently Thunderbird knows about MailFence. That's good to know. Night of Light would like to know if does anybody still have a Lycos or an Excite email? Ooh,
I saw that.
That's 90s. That's 90s-esque. Oh, boy.
Had me a flashback of the good old days.
Yeah, GeoCities. Oh, boy.
I had a GeoCities website. Oh, boy.
Shame on you.
I might still have an archive of it somewhere. It might be on a 3.5-inch floppy disk, but I have it.
Yeah, that's okay.
It'd be nice if Thunderbird or software in general was more modular to allow users to install. Amen to that. Yes, give me a basic raw Thunderbird and a bunch of plugins I can add. That would be the best bet because, like, even the calendar app, like, I have no interest in a Thunderbird calendar app.
The only calendar I'm interested in is the one I got hanging on the wall.
Yeah, Evolution integrates with Nextcloud perfectly. That's what I use.
It does.
Thunderbird may or may not. I don't remember, but I'm not
going
to bother trying to change because I have zero problems with Evolution and its way of doing calendars.
Yeah, I use a Nextcloud calendar and I hooked it up to Thunderbird.
Okay, so apparently it works.
I remember testing Thunderbird 10 years ago when I was considering replacing my email client. And I remember that, at least at the time, Thunderbird had a plethora of plugins that you could install. because I was specifically looking for PGP encryption support, which they had a plugin for. So Thunderbird is one of those where it has a bunch of features, and a lot of those features are you have to enable or install a plugin from the repository somewhere.
Yeah. Instigator says servers in Ks are immune to EMP. That may be correct, but they are not immune to fire demons. So be aware of that. There might be some gray wizard and fire demon having a duel out down there, and what are you going to do when one of those two zaps your server? I mean, jeez. They mentioned you can't access from Tor, but it looks all right otherwise. Yeah. Like I'm guessing you're talking about the Start Mail. Yeah, or which one? Some people have said that about Proton Mail, but I've had a Proton Mail account for testing purposes, and I've only ever accessed it on Tor. I may or may not have created a completely anonymous Amazon account that's only ever accessed on Tor with a Proton Mail account that's also only ever accessed on Tor.
I remember it was like 2 or 3 years ago. I remember reading an article about a French reporter getting arrested for something, and he had a Proton Mail account, and everybody was complaining complaining about Proton being, we don't, they don't protect their consumers or anything like that, or their customers. And it's like their retort was, well, we were following the law, and we were given a court order to release the IP information of the connection. So we did that. And then they followed it up with saying, however, if this person was to utilize a VPN connection, particularly should it have been ours, we would have been like, yeah, we can't help you. Sorry, there's no logs.
Yeah, and that's and the other commentary on that, we covered that article in the weekly news roundup when it first came out. The other factor is they don't respond to any requests from Europol or any other agency outside of explicitly their local jurisdiction, Swiss police. And so it was the local jurisdiction Swiss police that showed up and said, okay, we'll give you what we're required to. And that's good odds.
Yeah.
What is it? Yeah.
Interpol.
Swiss cows. Yeah.
Mo.
People said I did a good cow on the video last week.
Nice.
Hey, I'm an expert in barnyard animals. What can I say?
And also one of the reasons for choosing a provider in Switzerland is that Switzerland is one of the few countries who hasn't been invaded by anyone for hundreds of years. So they are highly secure also in the physical sense.
Yeah, but their major bank last year totally flopped.
They have actually started going down the woke train, so I'm not sure how much longer they're going to be.
Yeah, the Swiss bank or something like that had to be bailed out last year. That went belly up. It was one of their major banks. You guys got to remember that one.
Yeah, I remember there was something, but that's
right after the California bank collapsed.
Yeah, I remember that.
Lycos, as of 2022, was still using unsecured HTTP. Oh, Lord.
Oh, man.
They killed GeoCities because it was an open community they could not control. Hey, man, I had a website there in the 90s.
If you remember what the URL was, if you replace the Geo with Rio, and it might actually still exist.
What, like Rios?
Yeah, Rio cities.
Like RE, spell that.
And it's the same as GeoCities, only the first letter is an R instead of a G. That's the only difference.
Yeah, I'm plugging it in right now.
Because when they announced that GeoCities was shutting down, then a few mirrors showed up.
I got GeoCities.restore. Let's see.
Okay, yeah, I got it. And it says the GeoCities Gallery, a restored visual gallery of the archived GeoCities sites sorted by neighborhood.
Hmm.
Now, it looks like its initial release was in January of 19.
Interesting. Yeah, like I'm on geocities.restorvaland.org. Is that the right spot or no?
Restorativeland.org. Yep,
Restorative
that's
Land.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, Rio Cities redirects to that.
Yeah, I'm not finding anything that used to be my my old site. So, okay. 100% you can access Proton with Tor. Yeah, that's been my experience. Couldn't
My
beat a boss in a
problem
video
is,
game,
is
so I disassembled it for unlimited health until I did. What?
Tor runs extremely slow for me.
Yeah, it depends on what your entry and exit nodes are and things like that. Over on Rumble, KK says, "What's up, Appleseed? Welcome back." Hey, Wolfer, Rumble is good. Yep, Rumble works. Ching! Like the background. They just see a bunch of my spam. I'm kicking off. Switching to Skiff. Skiff Mail has drive. Switch most of my protons to Skiff. All right, and UBS. Yep. All right, I think we've gotten through everything and all of the comments. Dude, like,
So
I'm
by the
looking
way,
at
one
Rumble
thing that
right now, and the first video they're recommending after the live stream is one of my videos. If I reach the big time on Rumble, I mean, didn't think that would happen.
there's one thing that needs to be clarified about the
Sure.
pros and cons in the 10 providers that they are talking about. When they said that things are open source or not open source, they are specifically talking about the service provided email client or something that you run on your own system. Because the service itself doesn't matter if they are using a proprietary Exchange server or a Linux server, as long as the security works and you have access using a third-party client, which is open source. Then, because as Stallman says that they have the right to choose what they are running because they are not doing your computing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. There you go. All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap this off. If anybody's watching, a supporter wants to jump on after the for the after show, we're going to kick ourselves off of the internet now, but then we'll hang out over there for another half hour. So, hey, we'll actually get back to looking at the news because, yeah, it's Thursday. All right, guys. We will see you tomorrow for the weekly news roundup.